This is why you're not living the life you want yet. Today I'm going to break down the main reasons why you're not living the life you want, why you failed every single day to show up for yourself, why you fail to do the things necessary to get you to where you want to go. I'm going to walk you through step by step what I did and how I was able to escape my old life and venture into my new life and really chase the dreams I wanted to chase. The cold truth is, most people don't actually hate their work. They just hate waking up every single day and not having the freedom to do what they actually want to do. Most people have been programmed to understand that, you do have to work a 9 to 5. And you do have to live this life of, constantly just getting by, overpaying for rent and, having all these expenses and having the cost of living so high that you're stuck. You're always stuck. No matter how much more money you make, you get pushed into getting lifestyle stuck. And, you're just forever in this point of chasing the next dollar and chasing that money just so you can get by. A lot of people just dream about it and they go, oh, that must be nice, or I'd love to do this, but they don't actually put it in action. They have a dream, but that's all they do. I think for a lot of people, when they see someone that has, done something with their life or, had success, they tend to put them on a pedestal and they tend to make them feel like that's so unachievable to the point that that person is just built different and that is just, a different type of human being. When in reality, we are all the same. We all started from humble beginnings. Yes, some people were luckier than others, but at the end of the day, we are all capable of doing the exact same thing. You need to build a plan, you need to build discipline, and most importantly, you need to have leverage. But the real question is, how do you actually do that? How do you come up with a plan? How do you maintain discipline? How do you actually create leverage for yourself so that you can live the life you want to live? My story started about 3 years ago. I finished high school, went straight into construction work. For those who are from Australia, I was a first year carpentry apprentice. I was digging holes and I was basically trying to become a full-time construction worker, and I was working full-time. I was waking up at 6 a.m. and working till 5 p.m. some days, 6 days a week, Monday to Saturday. In reality, how much money was I actually making? I think on about 12 Australian dollars an hour, which is about 8 to 7 USD dollars an hour. I was making peanuts. I was making $700 to $800 a week, if that. And I was working my absolute arse off. But the thing I wasn't doing was I wasn't working towards my dream. I was just working towards someone else's dream. I was building someone else's dream. Every single day I got up at 6 a.m. It wasn't for me, it was for someone else. And so that's what I realized, where I was like, well, hold on a second, what is my dream? And I'd look at my boss, he was 30 years old and he was still digging holes. He was still getting up at 6 a.m. He wasn't able to travel. He was still having to be on site, be in the rain, hold a traffic sign, do all the same things I was doing. Except he had more stress and more pressure on himself to actually put everything together as he was the boss. And so when I looked at that, I go, okay, well, every single day, this is the pathway I'm going down. This is what I'm working towards. And it's in reality not the life I want. And so that's when I made the decision that I was like, I'm going to actually work towards the life I want. And I'm going to go after the things that I actually want out of this life. So I quit my job at 19 years old and I went all in on myself. I started learning skills. I started connecting with other people. I started just working on myself. Now, a lot of guys that are just starting out tend to hit me up and go, how do you meet so many like-minded people? But they haven't even taken the time to work on themselves yet. They haven't even taken the time to bring value to the table, to actually be of somewhat use to a high-value person. So they end up just being stuck and going, oh, how do I meet these guys? When it all starts with you first. You need to work on yourself. You need to become a better man every single day. You need to bring value to the table. You need to have skills that can solve other people's problems. Over these next 2 years, I basically told myself, if I was going to go all in, I was going to sacrifice these 2 years. I was going to do whatever it takes to get to where I want to go. And that meant no partying. All my mates were going out. I wasn't watching Netflix, wasn't drinking, wasn't smoking, even family time, family events. I was locked in my room and I was working on my goal every single day, building my own dream. Whereas most people were out there, partying and working on someone else's dream 6 days a week. All I focused on was getting better every single day, just learning the skills. No one can ever take your skills away from you, and that's why they're so important. The 3 main things that got me out of where I was and got me closer towards my goals was I learned high income skills, things that people would actually pay me for. I brought value to people who were already winning. Instead of just begging them and asking to do an internship or come and work for free, I actually brought value to their life and became resourceful, became useful to their life, brought them money, brought them views, brought them followers, brought them attention, brought value to their life. And 3 is I just cut the crap. I stopped partying, I stopped going out, I stopped even eating out, I stopped hanging out with friends, I stopped having family time. I started focusing on myself. I started being the man that I always wanted to be. A lot of people want this life and they want to achieve these goals, but they haven't become the man that can actually attain these things. They haven't become the man that actually attracts these things, and yet they expect to just have this life. Now, the thing that actually gets you out of the slump and gets you out of where you are, working that 9 to 5, it's not motivation, it's skill. You need to actually focus on becoming a better person. You need to focus on bringing value to the table. There's tons of skills out there: copywriting, appointment setting, high ticket sales, digital marketing. All of these things are out there for you to learn, but a lot of people just choose not to do it. If you want freedom, you need to learn the skills that are going to allow you to have that freedom. And for me, digging holes and putting up timber houses wasn't the skills that allowed me to have freedom, but learning sales, learning marketing, learning how to communicate with people online, building a personal brand. All these things, they allowed me to have the freedom that I want. You have to learn how to get other people results. The fastest way for you to win is to help others win. Because once you can bring value to someone else's table, I can almost guarantee you're going to be well compensated for it, and it's going to help you in the long run. Now, how you really become unstoppable is you stack these skills up with self-improvement. Skills can make you valuable, but discipline makes you dangerous. Once you have these skills in your arsenal and you're able to say no to almost everything that comes your way that isn't pushing you further towards your goal, and you are so unbelievably locked in that no matter what happens, you will get it done, that's when you become a killer. Wake up early every day, go to bed early at night, train every day, eat clean, cut out all the distractions, put yourself in the room with the right people, surround yourself with people that are all doing the same thing. Once you improve your vehicle, which is yourself, then the results will come, and they come fast. But you need to focus on learning skills, and you need to become a better man every single day. Most people never make it is simply because they give up on themselves. They have the vehicle, they have everything they need to get them to where they want to go, but they give up. They simply just give up on themselves because times get tough. They want this freedom. They want to live this lifestyle without pressure. I can tell you right now that yes, my lifestyle looks cool, but the pressure that is put on me to show up for my team, to show up for my clients, to make sure every single day that I don't fall the fuck off, it's a lot. And this is what separates entrepreneurs from just the average person, is because entrepreneurs are able to take on this stress and deal with it. Whereas a lot of people crack under that pressure and they end up giving up. Some people simply aren't ready to be successful. Not saying that they will never be successful, but they just aren't ready right now. And that's why self-improvement is so key. Because if you aren't ready to make sacrifices, if you aren't ready to stay disciplined, then you can't be ready to achieve this success. You can't be ready to have this freedom if you yourself are not even ready to take on the pressure. Now, what actually happens once you do this, once you lock yourself in your room for 2 years, you learn skills and you focus on yourself, a lot. Things will change. For me, I was able to earn over 6 figures, travel across the world, meet people that I used to literally dream of meeting. I used to idolize them in my bedroom. I now live with them, or I now travel the world with them. And that all comes back to focusing on myself. Achieving this lifestyle isn't something where it surprises you. You know that you deserve it because you've put in the work that was required. You made the sacrifices that were required. You have to lock in long enough for you to deserve it. And once you have it, that is when you have to go even harder. A lot of people tend to fall off. They'll see some success, they'll start spending their money, they'll get lifestyle stuck, and then they fall off. You have to work harder. Just know that once you achieve this freedom, if you don't work hard every single day to push the needle forward, you will fall off, you will get lifestyle stuck, and you will go back to your 9 to 5. You need to focus on the right things. If you aren't working towards building your skills every single day, if you aren't working towards becoming a better man or a better woman every single day, and you're just focusing on building someone else's dream, then you can't expect to have this freedom. You can't expect to live this life. It's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy. There's a million ways to make money online. There's a million different things to do. You just got to pick one. You've got to find it, something that you're remotely passionate about, and go ahead with it and lock in with it for 2 years, 1 year even, the very least. But just be direct, be sure in who you are and what you want to do, and focus on it. It's going to take 1 to 2 years of brutal discipline. It's going to take 1 to 2 years of trying to learn skills, trying every single day when at sometimes it feels like it's just not working. It's going to take 1 to 2 years of sacrifice, 1 to 2 years of helping other people get results. In the beginning, yes, you will be helping other people build their dream, but you'll also be building yours at the same time. You won't just be building theirs. That is how you build leverage. Learn the skill, focus on yourself, bring value to the table, and that is when you create leverage. Once you can solve people's problems at scale, that is when you will achieve freedom. So the question is, Are you going to keep helping others build their dream, or are you going to build yours?